We're Jimmy and Natalie, and this is how much our van cost.
In this video, we're going to be getting into all the financial details, so if talking about money makes you uncomfortable, that is okay. We will see you next week for a normal vlog.
2 years ago, we quit our jobs in Atlanta to buy and build out our bus. It took us about 6 months to do that. Once we were done, we traveled all the way from South Carolina to Arizona, and then as far north as Wyoming. Around that time, we decided to switch gears and start working on our second build, which was Pancake the van. This is admittedly somewhat of an awkward video to make because we are about to go into heavy detail on exactly how much the bus costs, what the van costs, and even what we sold the bus for. But we just know how much this information would have helped us when we were making the jump. So right now, those are the people that we're targeting with this video, although I'm sure a lot of people can find enjoyment in this one as well too. So first, we'll start at the beginning, which was how much we saved up for our first conversion, Saguaro. We saved up a total of $30,000 for our first conversion, which included the price of the bus as well as all the components and materials that were to go into that conversion. Quick note, that does not include the first year of travel. That was a different budget that we can talk about in a different video.
If there's interest.
Yeah, if there's interest.
So that is $30,000 over the course of 3 years between the two of us, and we were saving very aggressively to try and make that happen.
It was pretty much our only goal by the time we graduated college and started working.
We started with $30,000, and then from there, we bought our bus, Saguaro. We bought her empty for $6,700. We met the buyer in Tennessee. It was the most cash we have ever carried on us at one time. It was terrifying, but it worked out okay. It wasn't a scam, and we got our bus. I think you can get a lot of buses for a good bit cheaper, but we wanted a very particular type of bus. We wanted a 5-window bus with a dog-nosed front. So it took us a while to find that, but it finally came up on the market, and we were willing to pay a little bit more for it just so that it was exactly what we wanted.
And surprisingly, that was not the most expensive category. The number one most expensive category that we had for our bus build was the electrical system. Big surprise.
It cost more than the empty bus.
We spent a total of $6,827.25 on our electrical.
It's a ton of little components that add up, and several pretty pricey components that just on their own would be expensive. But it's necessary, and it was worth it for us to be able to live off-grid most of the year. We rarely had to stay at a campground, so it gave us a lot of flexibility and kept our living expenses low once we lived in the bus.
Thankfully, there's a large jump between number one and number two, but our next category is our kitchen. Our kitchen ended up costing us $2,380.17. That might seem like a lot, but the number one item in that category was our Dometic fridge that we spent over $1,400 on. It was really overkill, but again, we had our budget, we were excited to do a build, and we might have gotten carried away with a few things.
Yeah, like we've said, we've learned a lot in this process. The next most expensive category for our bus was plumbing. We spent $2,005.42 on the plumbing. I think this category had the largest number of items, and we did not go simple on our plumbing system. We had 2 fresh water tanks, a big gray water tank all outside, and then we had not only a sink, we had a shower with hot water.
And halfway through the plumbing, we found out that half of the connections we bought contained lead, so they were not potable connections. So we then had to repurchase half of the connections we bought for the plumbing. This really adds up.
So embarrassing sharing that, but you know, look out for that. Don't get lead fittings when you do your drinking water system.
We learned a lot, okay? Our second build was a lot smoother than that. So this is a fun one. We have a category just dedicated to wood. So in total, we spent $1,960.81 just on wood. Keeping in mind, everything in the bus was made out of wood. I don't think we used one metal piece anywhere. We never did welding. We had an entire roof deck that we made completely out of wood planks. So we spent a lot of money on wood.
Our bathroom cost us $1,283.29. We had a fixed shower with permanent walls, and the Nature's Head composting toilet on its own cost about $1,000. So that's where most of that budget went. But we knew that we wanted to try and make creature comforts like that as comfortable as we possibly could to ease our transition from an apartment to living in a bus. It was great not having to deal with Blackwater.
Yeah, after a year and a half on the road, perfectly happy with the $1,000 toilet. No complaints.
We got it again in our second build, so.
So moving on, we're gonna recap the next couple categories since they're all under $1,000 each. So the next runner-ups are living space, $671. Paint at $631. Tools at $428. Screws and hardware, $409. Installation at $273. Then miscellaneous at $263.
Most of that is our rooftop ladder. We just didn't really know what category to put that in.
And then finally, it was Natalie's favorite category, her window covers, cost us a total of $244.94.
Which is impressive when you realize that that was for 18 separate windows. So not including the price of the empty bus, the bus conversion cost us $17,381.46.
Which, if you can do your math, means that we had a grand total for our bus build to be $24,081.46, which came out to be about $6,000 under budget, which we would greatly need when we started our van build a year later. Overall, we were super happy with this price. We came in well under budget and was able to save a little bit. Granted, looking back at these numbers now, I think we probably could have saved a couple $1,000s, but you live and you learn, and I hope someone out there can learn from these numbers as well.
So after traveling in the bus for about a year, we found that we were spending a lot of time dealing with the mechanical aspects of the bus, and it is difficult to find good help with a diesel engine that is that old. Also, if you think about it, anytime you need to go anywhere like the grocery store, post office, any errands you need to run, you're taking a school bus there. So it quickly kind of grated on us, and we realized that we like to travel faster than we initially estimated that we would. We get tired of being in a place after about 4 days, so the bus just wasn't really perfectly aligned with our lifestyle, and we eventually made the really tough decision to sell our beloved bus and downsize into a van.
So that brings us to chapter 2 of our van life story, which is life after Saguaro. Saguaro gave us a lot of things, gave us the freedom to travel, and just opened up a whole new world to us. And when we departed with her, she also gave us a gift of, well, we sold her. I mean, you get it. So we sold her for a total of $39,000 that we then immediately flipped back around and put into our second conversion. So if you're keeping up with the numbers, this meant we had about $45,000 for the van build after we sold Saguaro.
And that brings us to our van, Pancake. When deciding on which empty van to buy, our biggest priorities were 1, making sure that it was tall enough for us to both stand up in, and 2, we wanted it to be a very low maintenance, gas-powered vehicle. We finally landed on a 2019 Ram Promaster 2500 with 21,000 miles on her.
This was not the first van we came across. We contacted several dealerships about older vans, kind of in the 100K miles or greater category, but vans were going so quickly, we would call one day and the second day the van would be gone.
We actually had to fly from where we had been in Salt Lake City, Utah, all the way to Southern California because that was the closest van we could find that we could get a hold of. We want to say a big thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. I probably could have done a little bit better with the plating, but that looks pretty good. I do most of the cooking in the van, and honestly, I'm still not great at it. I've kind of fallen into a habit of making the same 2 or 3 meals day in and day out. But HelloFresh has helped us add variety to our meals. Their foolproof recipes come pre-portioned out and are easy to prepare in just a few steps. Now I'm making meals like lemon spaghetti with Brussels sprouts, black bean tacos, and Greek quinoa bowls. I still can't believe I made that. Trying to cook with new foods can be intimidating, but HelloFresh makes it easy and actually fun. With HelloFresh, you're getting seasonal ingredients picked at peak ripeness. Ingredients travel from the farm to your home within 7 days, so you know that they're fresh. With 40 recipes and over 100 seasonal and convenience items to choose from every week, there's something for everyone and every lifestyle.
Good job, Matt.
Thanks! Now is the perfect time to get started. If you go to HelloFresh.com and use our code jimmyandnatalie50, then you'll get 50% off and your first box ships free.
We want to share the entire story, starting from day one when we quit our jobs and kind of show you the path that Saguaro and the money and Pancake have gone through, and hopefully it makes more sense to you. Our van cost us the astronomical price of $42,000. Now, this price has skyrocketed in the past few years. If you look at articles about van life 3 to 4 years ago, you'll see that prices were around half this, 19, 20, 25K tops. Trust me, we looked for those vans, but again, Pancake, the one that we found, was the best fit within our budget. And that is saying something. This was on the cheaper end.
We negotiated hard with that dealership. It was very, very difficult, and the amount of that number is not lost on us. It was a big decision. It was not something we just lightly decided to go do.
So again, wrapping back around, Saguaro not only gave us the gift of travel, but she gave us the gift of Pancake.
Yeah.
She completely paid for Pancake.
So with that, we also want to go through how much we spent on each of the components of the van build. Now that we've had a little bit more experience with building, I think we're able to make some smarter decisions, but we also realized what was more important to us with this conversion.
So our first category will be the first one that we started with, the bus.
Yeah, we're going from most to least expensive.
And that is the electrical. The electrical system in Pancake cost us $4,361.19. Now that is a little bit cheaper than what we put into Saguaro, and if you remember, we have twice the battery capacity in Pancake. And this is where we need to mention some gray area, and this is the only category that we need to mention this for. But during our van build, we had companies reach out to us that offered to send us products in exchange for us showcasing them on our YouTube channel. And so because of that, we were able to get some of these products for free that we would have otherwise had to pay for. So we are extremely grateful for the opportunity that we've had to go this route. And I know that's not possible for everyone, but we just wanted to mention this because, again, we want to share what we spent, but we also want to share what it would cost you as well. So with that being said, the real number would probably be closer to about $8,000 for our electrical system in Pancake.
We are including something that is a little bit, maybe not technically the electrical system, but we decided to get a roof rack, which cost about $1,800. So we're counting that as electrical because the only thing it's doing is holding up our solar panels, but it's included in the electrical, so that's kind of why the number is so large. So the next category is the living space. This includes kind of a lot of things, like the pillows, the cushions that we upholstered, the flooring,
The mattress.
yeah, tons of stuff like that. In this category, we spent $1,875.73.
I feel like we're already doing better in the van build because we're already into the 1,000s. We don't have any categories in the 2,000s.
Yeah.
We had quite a few in the bus build.
One thing that helped with the van is we had to do it all within 2 months. So we really didn't have any time to get distracted with extra projects.
Next category is my favorite one, which is the wood category. And we spent $1,400.15 on wood, which was about $500 cheaper than what we spent in the bus. So this included everything from our ceiling to our floor to our kitchen countertops, as well as the benches that we're sitting on now.
So on our kitchen, we spent $1,124.27. Now this includes our sink, our faucet, our 12-volt refrigerator, our electric stove top, everything in the kitchen.
The next one is our bathroom, which you guys don't see very much of because we don't have fixed walls, but it's actually right under here. This is our bathroom.
And that right there cost us $1,050.74.
Again, that's pretty much just the Nature's Head toilet. That's about $1,000, and everything else was just the fittings to make the vent work.
The next category was plumbing, which, if you remember, for the bus was $2,000. For the van, we spent $1,001.52. So we cut our plumbing cost in half with our second build.
I am very proud about our plumbing. If you guys saw the build videos, you can see how happy I was with how small we were able to get the plumbing. I just think it's the sleekest thing that we have in here, and I don't know, I'm just really proud of it.
Yeah, it turned out really nice. It's a lot cheaper when you buy the right fittings the first time.
All right, and that brings us to our categories under $1,000. So first is our tools.
$543. The tools category is a little strange with this one. In our bus build, we were staying with family, so that was truly just buying hammers or impact drivers, things we needed like that, saw blades. With the van, the biggest expense in the tools category was our makerspace. So we paid a monthly fee for our membership and an extra monthly fee to park the van and work out of their workshop. So that saved us a lot of money with having to buy tools, so we're counting that as our tools budget.
Our next highest was our insulation costs. We spent a good amount of money getting 3M Thinsulate for all of our walls, our ceiling, and we have a little bit of insulation in our floor, not much though. And that ended up costing us a total of $497.36.
Next on the list was our window covers. After the nightmare of making 18 individual window covers for the bus, there was no way I was doing that again for the van, especially not in our 2-month time crunch. So we just went with an outside company and we bought magnetic window covers. That ended up costing us $459 even.
So screws and hardware was $418.98.
And for our final category, which is paint, we spent $316. That includes all the paints and all the stains, as well as painting supplies like brushes. There's technically one more category, miscellaneous, but we spent $0 on miscellaneous. We were able to neatly classify everything in the van build. It was a much more coherent process.
We knew what we were doing. So if you add all that up, our total build costs, not including the vehicle, was a total of $13,048.96.
So with that, the total cost of this van build was $55,048.96.
Yes.
It's a lot. It's a big number, but I think we did our best with it.
So like we mentioned earlier, we had $45,000 saved up after we sold the bus, which meant that we needed to save an additional $10,000 to be able to pay for the van build in its entirety with no debt. This is not an easy feat, but saving up $10,000 was a lot easier than saving up $30,000 before. So honestly, I think we did pretty well with our second budget.
To be completely transparent, towards the end of the van build, we were really scraping the bottom of the barrel trying to get all this to work out, but it was worth the financial gymnastics that we had to do to make it happen because it worked out. It was not a small decision for us to do all this. It was really pretty scary.
So in summary, this is how much we spent on each of the builds. We can throw up a little chart on the screen right now. You can take a look. And this is a perfect time to announce that we have released our website, jimmyandnatalie.com. This website has all the information that we just talked about and more relating to both our bus build and our van build. It breaks down all the money by category and also includes a full CSV that shows every screw, every hammer, every piece of wood that we bought for these builds is written down in an Excel that you can go download for free on this website.
We have learned a lot and we have a lot of useful info, and it just feels wrong to sit on that. So hopefully it helps at least one person out there. I promise we are not doing any of this to brag. We just want to share our story in the hopes that it might help someone else.
So we recognize this is a much different video than we normally make, but we'd love to know how you guys liked it. Let us know if you want to hear more about this topic and if you want to hear about more aspects of van life, like what our daily costs are, how much we make on the road, and any other things I can't think about right now.
Yeah. Any questions you guys have about us financially, we will try to be an open book, but we also don't want to push it on you if you're not interested, so just let us know.
And with that, I think we're going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this was helpful to a few people out there. And we will see you next week.
Bye!